this video I'm going to be teaching you all about yarn labels and what all those funny cryptic little symbols really mean. Don't forget to stick around to the end of the video because I have something special for you. Hello, my name's Karen Stangram and welcome to Conquer Crochet, the channel for tips, tricks and techniques for conquering your crochet. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss a single stitch. Please don't forget to check in the descriptions below for all the things I talk about in the video, and for any freebies, links to other videos I think you might find useful, and also links to my social media. So if you're ready to get going with our yarn label video, give me a thumbs up below. Let's do this. So today I want to talk to you about yarn labels, these lovely little labels that come around our skeins of yarn. So when you take your yarn label off, I'm just going to flatten this one out. You have lots of information on here. So we're starting off with the make and what type of yarn it is. It's usually somewhere on the yarn so that you can see their advertising and their logos and that kind of thing. You may also have addresses and things for the different yarns that you're using. If you're in the UK, you will get the British Standard number on there as well. But the bit we really want to look at is this bit here. So we want to know lots of information when we're making a garment particularly. So this yarn I'm using is 100% premium acrylic. This could also say 70% wool, 30% acrylic, could have different percentages, but this tells you what material is used to make up your yarn. Underneath then, they have it in metric and imperial, the length of the yarn, and obviously this is approximate because it's machines that are deciding how much yarn goes into each skein, but sometimes patterns will ask you to buy yarn in, you need so many meters or so many yards of yarn in order to actually make this garment. Other patterns will say you need 3 balls or 3 skeins or something along those lines. Now because this is an Aran knit, this one says knit to all Aran patterns. Now as a crochet I get quite annoyed sometimes because they often refer to it as knitting yarn, and there's no reason why you can't crochet it. There is no difference between the yarn you knit with and the yarn that you would crochet with. So in the next little bit down we have the washing labels. So you have various different types of washing labels, and you see these on the inside of your clothing to tell you how to wash your clothing. So this will tell you how to wash the garment that you're going to make with this particular yarn. So you have this sort of bowl with a wiggly line in it. That is for machine wash. If there was a hand coming into the bowl, that would be hand wash only. 2 things you need to think about when you're doing looking at yarn labels. If there is a line underneath it, that usually means it's a gentler version. So although this is machine washable at 40, because of that line I would probably put it into a wool wash anyway. The other thing to think about is if there is a cross through it, that is a definite no-no. You do not do this. Now this yarn label is really good because it actually tells us underneath what they mean. Some of them don't. Okay, and I have a sheet for you to download at the end of this video, a free PDF download for you to have all the different yarn labels, different washing instructions, so you can have that to hand so that you know. Quite useful to actually stick up in your laundry as well so that you can keep an eye on what's going on with your clothes washing. So we have a box here. Sometimes it's in a box, sometimes it's just a circle. And this is for tumble drying, and again when there's a dot in it, that means it's low. If there are 2 dots, it's medium. If it's 3 dots, it's high, and that can be the same for the washing label as well. So if there's no dot in it and no temperature in there, that's just a normal wash. If there is 1 dot in it, that would be a cold wash. 2 dots, warm wash. 3 dots would be a hotter wash, and usually you would get the temperature in there as well, but not always. So this one you can cool tumble dry and you can cool iron. Now again there is a dot in here. If there is no dot, you can iron as normal. If there's 1 dot, it's a low heat, 2 dots, medium heat, 3 dots, high heat. I think you get the idea there. Sometimes you get an iron that has 2 little lines coming out from the bottom with a cross on it, and that would be do not steam. So turn the steam off on your steam iron. You can have dry clean, and there are different, these come in a circle. So this one can be dry cleaned. And again, that line would mean that it needs to be gentle. Now the P in the middle means you can dry clean it with any chemicals except trichloroethylene. I don't know what trichloroethylene is, but I'm sure the people in your dry cleaners will know what it is, and they know that you can't do it with trichloroethylene. It could have an F in the middle, which means you can only use petroleum solvents. If there's an A, you can use any solvents. And if it's just a circle, then that's just dry clean. If it's a circle with a cross, do not dry clean. Okay, moving on to the next part then. We have a pair of knitting needles crossed. And it also tells you here what size knitting needles to use. So they're suggesting here that you can use, and this is the same sizing for crochet hooks as well. So to use a 5mm hook with this yarn, which I would agree with because that's slightly thicker than a double crochet. I would tend to use a 4mm with an Aran because it's slightly thicker. I would use a 5mm. As I've said in previous videos, the bigger your hook or the larger your hook, the larger your crochet piece is going to be. The smaller your hook, the smaller your crochet piece will be. Obviously it's going to be quite difficult to do an Aran in a 2mm hook because you're going to keep catching all the individual threads in each strand of yarn. So that will tell you there what size hook you're going to need. Now the next one along tells you your gauge. So it's saying here that a 10 by 10 centimetre square would have, on here it says 24 rows and then 18 stitches along. So 18 stitches of 24 rows. Okay, would give you a 10 by 10 centimetre square, and they've also given it in inches here, which is 4 times 4 inches. Okay, so if you want to test to see whether or not your gauge is actually right and your tension is right, then you can check it off here and make a 10 by 10 square and then count your rows, count your stitches, and are you right? If you're not, you need to go up or down a hook size just to check what you're doing there. So the next thing to look at is on this side here, so I'm just going to turn this around. So there's the barcode for the shop, which we don't need to worry about. Then underneath here it says shade. And this is just really the company's code for their shade and their name of the yarn. But the bit you need to be really interested in is the bit that says dye. And sometimes it will say dye lot. And that is because each skein of yarn will be dyed at different times. So that they'll do a whole batch in one go. So that would be one lot. And then the next batch will be made with a different dye. Although they try and get it to be the same, it could be slightly lighter, it could be slightly darker. So if you're making a garment and you want to make sure that everything is exactly the same colour, make sure when you buy your yarn that the dye lot has the same number. Okay, really, really important. If you're just making a granny square blanket, you probably wouldn't notice, but if you're making a cardigan or a jumper, then you would notice that the change in the colours of yarn. It might be very slight, but they're just saying make sure that you use the same dye lot just in case. So that is how we read our yarn labels. Stick around because I'm going to show you where you can download your free PDF of your washing instructions. So as promised, here is your freebie for sticking around to the end of the video. Just a little PDF that you can download to put into your Conquer Crochet project folder, or you could print one off to go into your laundry room, or you could just have one sitting around somewhere in the house in case you ever want to use one. It might be useful if you're making gifts for other people. You might want to print out one and cut out all the little labels they need to look after the garment that you've made for them. So you could just get a little gift tag and cut those out and stick them on so that they'll know how they can wash the garment that you've made for them. So I'm trying to do a variety of videos on this channel, not just teaching you stitches, but showing you various things linked in with crocheting. If there's anything particular you would like, if there's something that you're really struggling with that you'd like a tutorial on, please let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please just let me know. It's good to know whether or not people are enjoying them. Likewise, give me a thumbs up if you have enjoyed this. There are 2 other videos on the screen over here. And if you'd like to, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single stitch. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you over on these videos. Happy hooking!